What was supposed to be a normal cremation turned into a nightmare no one could have imagined. Face screaming in fear as the flame started. A blood-curdling scream came from inside the coffin. When they rushed to check the body, what they found left everyone absolutely speechless. Fearful Face Skull watched till the end to uncover the shocking truth behind this chilling incident. Don't forget to like, thumbs up, share counterclockwise arrows button, and subscribe. The small town of Millwood was quiet. The kind of place where everyone knew everyone else's business. It was a chilly October evening in 2024 when the incident at the Millwood crematorium shook the community to its core. The story began with the death of Clara Hensley, a 62-year-old widow who lived alone on the edge of town. Clara was known for her sharp tongue and reclusive nature, but no one expected her passing to unravel into something so horrifying. Clara had been found dead in her home by her neighbor, Tom Grayson, who'd gone to check on her after noticing her mailbox overflowing for days. The coroner, Dr. Ellen Marsh, ruled it a heart attack, citing Clara's history of high blood pressure and no signs of foul play. The body was sent to the crematorium, as per Clara's will, which explicitly requested no funeral, no viewing, just a quick cremation. Her only living relative, a distant nephew named Derek Hensley, didn't argue. He lived 3 states away and barely knew her. At the crematorium, the staff was small but efficient. There was Ronnie Baxter, the 45-year-old manager who'd worked there for 2 decades, and his assistant, 28-year-old Lila Carter, who was new to the job but eager to prove herself. That evening, they were preparing Clara's body for cremation. The coffin was plain, wooden, nothing fancy, exactly what Clara had wanted. Ronnie was double-checking the paperwork, while Lila adjusted the furnace settings. Everything set? Ronnie asked, his voice gruff from years of smoking. Lila nodded, wiping her hands on her apron. Yeah, temperature's good. Paperwork's in order. Ready when you are. Ronnie glanced at the coffin. Poor old bat. Nobody even showed up to say goodbye. Lila shrugged. Her nephew didn't seem to care. Said he's got a flight to catch tomorrow. Ronnie snorted. Family, huh? All right, let's get this done. They slid the coffin onto the conveyor belt, the mechanical hum filling the room. Lila pressed a button, and the coffin began its slow journey toward the furnace. The flames roared inside, waiting to consume the wood and flesh. It was routine, something Ronnie had done thousands of times. But then it happened. A scream. It wasn't loud at first, more like a muffled cry, but it grew sharper, more desperate. It came from the coffin, now halfway into the furnace. Lila froze, her hand hovering over the controls. Ronnie's cigarette fell from his lips, hitting the floor. What the hell was that? Lila whispered, her eyes wide. Ronnie didn't answer. He lunged to the emergency stop button, slamming it with his fist. The conveyor belt screeched to a halt, the coffin teetering at the edge of the furnace. The scream came again, weaker now, but unmistakable, a human voice, raw with pain. Oh my God, Ronnie, she's alive. Lila shouted, her voice cracking. Ronnie's face was pale, his hand shaking. That's impossible. She's been dead for days. The coroner checked her. Then why is she screaming? Lila snapped, already moving toward the coffin. We have to open it. Ronnie grabbed her arm. Wait, we don't know what's going on. What if it's, I don't know, gas or something? Gas doesn't scream, Ronnie. Lila yanked her arm free and grabbed a crowbar from the tool rack. Help me or get out of the way. Ronnie hesitated, then cursed under his breath and joined her. Together, they pried open the coffin lid. The wood splintering under the pressure. The smell hit them first, rot mixed with something chemical like formaldehyde. Inside lay Clara Hensley, her face gray, her eyes closed, but her chest was moving, shallow and uneven. She's breathing. Lila gasped, dropping the crowbar. Call 911 now. Ronnie fumbled for his phone, his fingers clumsy. This can't be happening. This can't be happening. As Ronnie dialed, Lila leaned over Clara, checking for a pulse. It was faint, erratic, but there. Clara's lips parted, and a low moan escaped, sending a chill down Lila's spine. Hold on, Clara, we're getting help, Lila said, her voice trembling. You're going to be okay. The paramedics arrived within minutes, along with Sheriff Dan Whitaker, a burly man in his 50s who'd seen his share of strange things in Millwood, but nothing like this. The paramedics, led by a no-nonsense woman named Sarah Klein, worked quickly, transferring Clara to a stretcher and hooking her up to monitors. She's got a pulse, but it's weak, Sarah said, her voice steady despite the chaos. We need to get her to St. Mary's Hospital now. Sheriff Whitaker turned to Ronnie and Lila, his eyes narrowing. You two better start talking. How does a dead woman end up screaming in a coffin? Ronnie held up his hands. We didn't do anything wrong. The coroner signed off on her. Heart attack, she said. Then why is she alive? Whitaker barked. You telling me you didn't check the body before shoving her in there? Lila stepped forward, her face flushed. We followed protocol. The paperwork was clean. Nobody checks for a pulse when the coroner's already declared them dead. Whitaker rubbed his temples. This is a damn mess. I'm calling Dr. Marsh. She's got some explaining to do. At St. Mary's Hospital, Clara was rushed into the ICU. Dr. Paul Nguyen, the lead physician, was baffled. Her vitals are unstable, but she's alive, he told the sheriff over the phone. I've never seen anything like this. Her body shows signs of early decomposition, yet she's breathing. We're running tests, but it's like she was in some kind of suspended state. Whitaker hung up and turned to Dr. Ellen Marsh, who just arrived at the crematorium, her face pale and her hands clutching her medical bag. Ellen, what the hell happened? Whitaker demanded. You told me she was dead. Dr. Marsh shook her head, her voice shaky. She was Dan. I checked her myself. No pulse, no respiration. Pupils fixed and dilated. All signs of death. I followed every procedure. Then how is she in the ICU right now? Whitaker snapped. You screwed up, and now we got a woman who almost got burned alive. I didn't screw up. Dr. Marsh shot back, her voice rising. I've been doing this for 25 years. I know a dead body when I see one. Then explained the screaming. Lila interjected, her hands on her hips. Because I heard it, and so did Ronnie. That wasn't a hallucination. Dr. Marsh opened her mouth, then closed it, her eyes darting to the coffin. I don't know, maybe a rare medical condition like catalepsy. It mimics death, slows the body down to almost nothing. But it's so rare. Rare. Ronnie exploded. You're telling me you didn't even consider it? You almost got us to kill her. Enough! Whitaker shouted, silencing the room. We're not solving this here. Ellen, you're coming with me to the hospital. Ronnie, Lila, you're on leave until we figure this out. And nobody talks to the press, got it? But the news spread like wildfire. By morning, Millwood was buzzing. Reporters descended on the town, and Clara's nephew, Derek, arrived, furious and demanding answers. He stormed into the sheriff's office, where Whitaker was already dealing with a flood of calls. You people nearly cremated my aunt alive, Derek yelled, slamming his fist on the desk. Who's responsible for this? I want names. Calm down, Mr. Hensley, Whitaker said, his voice firm. We're investigating. Your aunt's stable for now, and we're doing everything we can. Stable? Derek scoffed. She was in a coffin, Sheriff. You think that's stable? I'm suing everyone involved, the coroner, the crematorium, the hospital, all of you. Whitaker leaned forward, his eyes hard. You want to sue? Fine, but you didn't even bother to check on her when she was dead. Where were you when she was lying in her house for days? Derek's face reddened. Don't you dare turn this on me. I live 800 miles away. I didn't know she was sick. You didn't care enough to find out, Whitaker said coldly. Now sit down or I'll have you escorted out. Derek glared but sank into a chair, muttering under his breath. Meanwhile, at the hospital, Clara's condition was deteriorating. Dr. Nguyen called in a specialist, Dr. Rachel Patel, a neurologist with experience in rare disorders. After examining Clara and reviewing the tests, Dr. Patel had a theory. It's possible she suffered from a form of locked-in syndrome combined with severe catatonia. Dr. Patel explained to Dr. Nguyen and Sheriff Whitaker. Her body shut down to a point where it mimicked death, but her brain was still active. That scream, it might have been her fighting to break through. Whitaker frowned. So you're saying she was aware the whole time? Even in the coffin? Dr. Patel nodded grimly. It's possible. She may have been conscious, but unable to move or speak until the extreme stress of the cremation process triggered a response. Dr. Nguyen shook his head. That's horrifying. How do we miss this? Because it's almost unheard of, Dr. Patel said. There may be a dozen documented cases worldwide. The coroner wouldn't have known to look for it. Whitaker's jaw tightened. So nobody's at fault? That's what you're telling me. I'm saying it's a medical anomaly, Dr. Patel replied. Blame won't help Clara now. We need to focus on keeping her alive. But Clara's survival was far from certain. Her organs were failing, and the hospital staff were fighting a losing battle. The town, meanwhile, was divided. Some blamed Dr. Marsh for negligence. Others pointed fingers at the crematorium staff. Rumors swirled. Some said Clara had been poisoned. Others claimed she'd been cursed. A local pastor even suggested demonic possession, which only fueled hysteria. Lila, unable to stay silent, went to the hospital to see Clara. Despite being on leave, she slipped into the ICU, where Clara lay hooked up to machines, her eyes half open but unfocused. Clara, I'm so sorry, Lila whispered, tears streaming down her face. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. A nurse, overhearing, gently pulled Lila away. You shouldn't be here, she said. It's not your fault. Then whose fault is it? Lila snapped, her voice breaking. We almost killed her. I can't sleep. I can't eat. I keep hearing that scream. The nurse sighed. You're not alone. This whole town's haunted by it. As the days passed, the investigation deepened. Sheriff Whitaker interviewed everyone who'd had contact with Clara in her final days. Tom Grayson, the neighbor, admitted he'd argued with Clara a week before her death over a property line dispute. She was yelling at me, calling me a thief, Tom said, his voice defensive. But I didn't touch her, I swear. Whitaker leaned in. You sure about that, Tom? Because you were the last person to see her alive. Tom's face flushed. You accusing me of something, Sheriff? I found her dead. That's all. I called it in. I'm not accusing. Whitaker said calmly. I'm asking, and I'll keep asking until I know what happened. The autopsy results, delayed due to Clara's unexpected survival, were finally released. They showed traces of a sedative in her system, one not prescribed by her doctor. Whitaker confronted Dr. Marsh with the findings. Ellen, you said you didn't give her anything, he said, holding up the report. So where'd this come from? Dr. Marsh's eyes widened. I didn't prescribe it, Dan. I swear, maybe she took it herself. She had insomnia, you know that. Or maybe someone gave it to her, Whitaker said. Someone who wanted her quiet. Dr. Marsh's face hardened. You're reaching. I'm not a criminal. I made a mistake, maybe, but I didn't drug her. The sedative raised new questions. Was it an accident? Or had someone intentionally tried to make Clara appear dead? Whitaker turned his attention to Derek, who had been pushing for a quick cremation. When questioned, Derek was evasive. I just followed her will, Derek said, avoiding Whitaker's gaze. She wanted it done fast. Convenient for you, Whitaker said. No body, no evidence. Were you hoping to inherit something? Derek's eyes flashed. You're out of line, Sheriff. I didn't need her money. I've got my own life. Then why push for cremation? Whitaker pressed. Why not even ask for an autopsy? Because I didn't think it mattered. Derek shouted. She was dead, or so you all told me. The truth remained elusive. Clara, now in a coma, couldn't speak for herself. The sedative's origin was untraceable, and no one admitted to giving it to her. The town's anger grew, with protests outside the crematorium and calls for Dr. Marsh's resignation. Ronnie and Lila, meanwhile, struggled with guilt. Ronnie turned to drinking, while Lila sought therapy, haunted by nightmares of Clara's scream. One night, Lila visited Ronnie at his apartment, desperate to talk. I can't keep doing this, she said, her voice raw. Every time I close my eyes, I see her in that coffin. Ronnie took a swig of whiskey, his eyes bloodshot. You think I'm okay? I've been doing this job for 20 years, and now I'm the guy who almost burned a woman alive. We didn't know, Lila said, grabbing his arm. We trusted the coroner. We trusted the system. The system's broken, Ronnie spat, and we're the ones paying for it. Lila's voice dropped to a whisper. What if someone did this to her? What if it wasn't an accident? Ronnie stared at her, his grip tightening on the bottle. Then we're all screwed, because nobody's going to believe us. Clara died 2 weeks later, her body too weak to recover. The official cause was organ failure, but the town saw it as a failure of everyone involved. Her death didn't end the questions. It only deepened them. The sedative, the scream, the near cremation, it all lingered like a stain on Millwood's soul. Derek left town, vowing to sue but never following through. Dr. Marsh retired, unable to face the scrutiny. Ronnie quit the crematorium, moving to a new state to escape the memories. Lila stayed, determined to find answers. She started digging, talking to Clara's old friends, tracking down medical records, even contacting experts on catalepsy. She found nothing conclusive, but she refused to give up. The crematorium was shut down, its reputation ruined. Sheriff Whitaker closed the case, citing insufficient evidence of foul play. But he couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong, that someone had gotten away with something. He kept Clara's file on his desk, a reminder of the case that would haunt him forever. In Millwood, the story of Clara Hensley became legend. People whispered about it in bars, in churches, in grocery stores. Some called it a tragedy, others a crime. But everyone agreed on one thing. The scream from that coffin would never be forgotten. It was a sound that pierced the heart of the town, a reminder that sometimes the line between life and death is thinner than anyone wants to believe.